Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Bright Futura podcast, your weekly creativity-based podcast. I am the host this week. My name is Mike O'Rourke, and with me is...
Christopher Walken. You spaced that out really weirdly.
I did, yeah.
I'm Josh Hinkins, by the way.
Yeah. Like I said, I've prepared the topics this week. I've got a few good ones. It's a little bit of a lighter episode this week because last week we went into politics and it got
I felt
bit heavy.
Like the topics that I picked were quite light. And
They
quite
were,
fun.
and then I came in at the end like
so politics in advertising, guys.
I came in at the end like Emperor Palpatine, like, no, we cannot have a happy episode. That's my Palpatine. I'm working on it. It's not very good at the minute, but it's where it is.
Yeah,
it's where it is now.
I'm glad you're working on it.
Yeah. So, what have you been doing the past week, Josh?
This week I have been getting very poorly. I've come down with something horrendous, but anyway,
the Black Plague, they call it.
No, I don't think they have suffered quite like how I'm suffering right now.
What the audience doesn't know is we've just said this joke a moment ago. Time to break the veil. Yeah, we weren't recording. That was my fault.
Yeah, so we've had to do all of that bit again. Anyway, poorly. I've been at work, and also I've gotten a new brief at university for a book cover. The book that I'm having to design a book jacket for is Fahrenheit 451, the dystopian...
451? 415?
451.
Okay, cool. I always forget the name of that book. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just completely interrupted you.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I'll let you off this time.
Cool.
Fahrenheit 451. I've been looking at ways to illustrate the bit differently. One avenue I've gone down so far is to do the book jacket out of steel.
So, just your average university project.
Yeah.
That requires no effort at all.
Yeah.
Right?
I could do it all in Illustrator and print it out really nicely on some matte finish paper, but no.
So, going to your process, why are you doing it out of steel?
Oh, out of steel. The idea was basically the name of the book relates to at what temperature book paper sets alight and starts burning. Fahrenheit 451 is also 232 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
So I wanted to use steel because at 230 degrees Celsius, steel starts to go a yellow straw colour.
Okay.
So what I was thinking of doing was having a sheet of steel, heating it to 232, seeing what happens there, and then CNC routering into the steel, the title of the book, all the information down the spine and whatnot, and then cutting the steel into 3 bits and then putting it on hinges, so it actually works as a book cover.
That sounds cool. I really like that idea. It's for me at university, I wasn't a book jacket kind of guy. I didn't enjoy the book jacket sort of briefs, but I appreciated what other people could do with it. I liked seeing people like illustrating book jackets.
Yeah,
it was nice. It's not what I do.
No, it's not something that I'm overly interested in. I like some ideas, like the one I did. Sorry, guys, I'm just dying over here.
Yeah.
The one I just finished for the reader, I did that one as lino print, which was a step out further from what I usually do. I usually do, a lot of my work last year was vector work.
Yeah.
So this year I'm just kind of sort of pushing the boundaries, seeing what can be done.
Yeah. No, that's cool. What else have you been doing?
Other than that, I don't think I've done a lot, to be honest. I finished my Manhattan project. Maybe not call it that, actually.
Yep, not the best name. Making the atom bomb over there, are you?
I can't believe I just called it that. Oh, dear. No. Oh dear. No. Basically, I made a scale model. Was it scale? It wasn't really scale.
No, it wasn't.
I just made a model of part of like Central Park and Manhattan.
Yeah, sort of a skyline sort of
Yeah.
cityscape.
And then used two projectors to like display text on it, and then also to do a background. And yeah, it was cool. It was something very different. I'd not done it
I did
before.
see you building it because I had a day off not
Yeah.
too long ago, and I came into the
Yeah, it's
university
the
to try and
birthday, wasn't it?
yeah. I tried to see some of the lecturers. None of them were there.
No.
None of the ones that I wanted to see anyway. And then so I saw you building it, and it looked cool. It was interesting. It's not something people tend to do at university.
Oh, God,
making
no.
like
No one on my floor that I've seen in the 3 years I've been there have done sculptural stuff
yeah.
at all.
When I was there, I did a sculpture of a single building with
What-
scaffolding.
What year was that?
My second year.
Yeah, I've been there 3 years. You'd have done it before I got there.
I see. Okay. I wasn't employing anything, Josh.
No.
Yeah. I enjoy sort of hands-on things at times. Like we did a module when I was at uni called Tangible Type, and it was sort of a
Yeah, Sev's not long finished that one, or did you do it last year?
I'm
It's one
not
of the two.
entirely sure.
Can't remember.
Yeah, so we had to make a sort of tangible typography piece. I know, crazy, right? Based on a poem written by someone at Manchester University. So that's why I did a sculpture. It was about a guy that enjoyed the rush of trying to kill himself or something. Jumped off buildings and stuff.
Oh, right. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not done anything else this week?
Not a lot. No, I haven't really done any.
Busy dying.
Yeah, busy dying. Not enough time for personal projects and
Yeah.
whatnot this week.
It-
What about yourself?
Well, to be fair, I've just been obviously at work all week. Most of what I've been doing is sort of setting up for an app we have coming out that I'm not allowed to talk about, which is, I'm sorry, that's really boring to hear. That's the worst kind of thing to tell someone. Oh, I've got this cool thing I'm working
This
on.
cool thing
I
that's
can't
coming out,
tell
so
you.
I can't tell you.
Yeah, nah, I'm sorry. I'll tell you there is a thing, but I won't tell you what it is. No, so I've been working on sort of some early content for that app. There we go. It's a platform for something. Cool. That gives you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working on sort of branding and stuff for other projects. So rebranding a private investigator at the minute, which is a
Wait, private investigators are real?
yeah, yes they are. They are real.
Fair enough.
That's the look of shock and horror on
Well-
your face at the time when I said that was amusing.
Yeah, more shock than horror. I
Yeah.
thought that's quite cool. Like, can you? What job do you have? I'm a private investigator.
Well, that's the thing. They're not going to say that, are they? They just don't go around being like,
Well, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I suppose it'd be similar to if you're in the police.
yeah,
You don't exactly. I work for the police.
I'm
Not
an undercover agent for
Not
MI
anymore. You joke, mate.
MI5. No, yeah. So rebranding that, working on it based around a symbol, because the brief it's essentially sort of they need two versions of like their business card. One where people don't get caught having a private investigator
Yeah.
business card, and one where they can just give it out at like events, sort of, promotional events and that kind of thing.
Please tell me there's like a private investigators convention. I would love that. And they all are there and they're like, I'm not a private investigator. I'm a cleaner.
Yeah, no,
Here's my card.
no, I have no idea the kind of events they go to.
That would be
I haven't
amazing.
looked into that really. But yeah, so I'm doing a bit of branding and stuff at the minute. Sort of helping the developers that I work with work on the website that I talked about last week, because that's all handed over and done for me now. But stuff like animation and little things that they have questions for, I'm helping with that. What else have I been working on this week? This week's kind of been a blur. I've been incredibly tired this week. It's been a long week. It's kind of really hit me towards the back end of the week, and I just slowed down. I didn't really want to do much. I was just extremely tired. Other than that, playing new games. Started playing a game called Futura, which is a really fun game. It's got this weird sort of rock paper scissors mechanic.
Yes.
You play as like a knight, a Viking, or a samurai, and
they've got
I'm gonna say yes.
What are they called? They've got different categories within.
Oh yeah. The knights, samurais, and Vikings all have different sort of classes within within each of their sort of respective laws, I guess.
So I really like the look of the Peacekeeper.
Yeah, I hate her. She's awful. She's the worst. If you play Peacekeeper, I'm not saying you should die in a fire, but
wow, strong words. Strong word.
If you fell into the fire, I would help you. I'd just be reluctant to do so. You know.
The only words I have for that is go scrub.
Yeah, you're right. But I really like the sort of setting of the game. It's this weird sort of amalgamation of different sort of warriors and different times.
Yeah,
they've just kind of forced together.
Yeah, they've just kind of like gone, oh, we like knights and we like samurai and we like the Vikings.
I'm not too great on history, but I'm sure knights and Vikings were around at the same time. I'm not sure about samurai. Were they around at the same time as Vikings? And
I think so.
Well, they were secluded, Japan, for like a long time, so I'm not sure they would have interacted in any way. For some time, anyway.
I don't know.
I'm not. Yeah, that's
I'm
what
a graphic design and illustration student, not
yeah,
history
same. Yeah, so that's been my week. It's been a bit of a calm week this week. Not really done really that much.
No.
Oh, preparing for my Nintendo Switch as well. I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh yes, the one with the tiny buttons.
Yeah, the one with the tiny controllers. It'll be fine for me because I have like
hands of a pickpocket.
Yeah, I dainty hands.
Dainty hands. Hands of a waterbender.
If I was a pro wrestler, you know, when their nicknames are like in quotation marks, it'd be Mike Dainty Hands or Raw.
Oh no, you would be Dane
T,
and then Handz with a Z.
Yeah.
You'd be German.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what we've been doing this week. Can you tell it's been a long week for both of us? Yeah. So moving on to our first topic. Let me just try and read Josh's handwriting.
Excuse me, you were able to read that perfectly earlier on.
But right now
it says Envision.
Envision.
I can read it upside down.
So I'll explain what Envision is very quickly before I go into the news behind it. So Envision is a prototyping software. Yeah, it's web-based. It's where you can go to test your websites on desktop, on mobile, tablet, basically any place where you would have a website. You can test it on there. It's for responsive design, essentially. I'm just gonna wait a second. Josh is kind of losing it a little.
I still can't get over dainty hands. it just snuck up on me. Yeah, that was just like, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah. So it's software for testing out your websites before coding it, and it's sort of a preview. But recently they came out with a new feature on the website that helps you in development. So when you're using InVision to work with developers and sort of the clients, they can now draw on the artboards directly and drop images in and say sort of, can you change this? And it just tends to speed up the process of getting the website ready to be made. And it's little things like this are coming out more and more recently to help with web design and getting better communication with clients.
So speeding up the workflow.
Yeah. That's exactly what it's for. And it's really good because it seems like software designers are focusing more on speeding up that interaction between you and the client. Because the worst thing about what we do is if you're freelance, if you're doing commission work for someone, or if you are working in the industry at a graphic design firm, or if you have an illustration agent, if you do something, send it off to the client, you've completely finished this entire website, and they're like, okay, now change this, this, and this. And you're just sitting there like, really, you should have said this while we were sending you things, and sort of in preparation for building the website. So this new software helps bridge that gap, because you can, the way InVision works is you sync either Sketch or Photoshop, whatever you decide to use, with it, and every time you update and resync, it updates on InVision. So updating parts and showing the client like instant. You can show them straight away, and then now they can respond straight away directly on the actual design.
So there's no sort of like dead time waiting or whatnot. Because if you make like a correction or something, and then you've got that time between you've sent the correction.
Yeah, you have to wait around. You advance a bit more. You might go further into the route that you're going for already. So you've done all this work that could essentially be lost if they're like, no, we don't really like this. This isn't the angle we want to go for. Yeah. So I appreciate that in software design.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Design idea, actually.
It's brilliant. So that's basically all I had to say on that. Can you think of any other sort of software or design stuff where something like this would be useful? Or what kind of thing would you sort of, if you were to talk to a software developer, what would you say, hey, can you maybe just make this easier for us, or something like that?
I think the only thing I could think of right now would be if you were an editor for like a TV show, or maybe not even that far. Like if you was an editor for YouTube videos or something, because that now I've found out it's a valid career option.
Yeah, it is.
Having something like that where you can literally just upload, resync what you've been doing in the process. I think that would make that really cool.
That stuff like that sort of exists at the minute. So there's software where you can plug a cable into your camera and feed it through to a computer. But the issue with that is you need that person there on site.
Yeah.
Whereas if there was sort of software that
I'll tell you what would be cool. Like if they combined like Discord or Skype with like an editing software, so that one person, multiple people can be
connected to that one sort of program at once,
and they can all like interact with each other and like talk about ideas whilst they're editing this one thing.
I like that, actually. That's really cool. And if you can have sort of like, say you have one panel with the person recording it, the other people signed in have the track and they can edit on the fly, and then you're connected by voice, so that the editor is the one that hits record, and then they start, or everyone's given a notification that I'm starting to record, and then obviously everyone shuts up, or it immediately shuts off microphones.
Yeah.
But then when you stop recording, or someone else can stop recording and be like, just take that again, try this instead. No, I agree. That's really cool. That's like having a director on site. That's like having an editor on site. That's really cool, actually.
Patent pending.
No,
don't steal my idea, guys. God, come on.
I quite like that. That's cool.
I'm gonna write it down and post it to myself.
Another thing that I would like is sort of building CSS exports and HTML exports into.
Did you nearly say escorts?
Almost. Yeah, so building HTML and CSS exports into After Effects. So, you know, when you have sort of web design where you have menus that come out and they animate, and say the menu button changes into an X and that kind of thing, sort of more user experience stuff to just make websites a bit nicer. I would like that built into After Effects because there's plugins that do it, but they're not the best. They're not very well made, I guess. But it would be nice if someone big,
like Adobe software in general.
Yeah, if someone big like Adobe took that on board and sort of built that into their software, just make it a little easier for the people that are using your software.
Also, can we actually get like a guide for Adobe software? That's easy to understand and get the hang of. Instead of just be like, here's the software.
You know what? Maybe they exist. I've never seen one though, and that's the problem. I assume there's third-party books that you can go buy. I mean, you pay a lot for Adobe software, so maybe just sort of give us a hub where we don't have to ask the community how to do things. Maybe just have, you know, a list of functions and stuff and how to do simple, common tasks.
Yeah.
That leads quite well into our next topic. Recently, there's a trend coming around that is sort of maybe going to cause Adobe some problems now.
Good. They might start doing something good with their software.
Yeah, so I've had the opinion for a while that Adobe software is really bloated. They're all losing their sort of focus now. So Illustrator isn't just for illustration. Photoshop is not for editing photos at all now. Photoshop is the jack of all trades program. You do a bit of everything.
Master of none.
Exactly.
As you can tell with some things.
Especially its animation and stuff like that. It's just awful at that.
I didn't even know you could do animation on it.
It's not great. I used to use it back in the days of MySpace. Doing banners for bands and stuff like
MySpace.
That. Yeah. That's
wow.
Does that... Kids today would think I'm old for saying that. How crazy is that?
I mean, we're only, 8 months apart, age-wise?
Yeah. I mean, and you think I'm old, so...
Yeah, I mean, I never even used MySpace.
Did you not?
No, never.
Oh, weird. I used it a lot, but
you would be the sort of person to use it a lot, I'm not even going to lie.
What does that mean, Josh?
Did you have a long fringe when you was 14, 15? Did it cover one eye?
It did for a small period, very short period.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes, anyway. Moving on from this. Recently, Adobe has gained a lot of competitors for pretty much every software that they use now. So for web design, rather than using Photoshop, Sketch has come out. And Sketch is a software that is focused solely around web design and UI. Now, there's a couple of reasons I find it better than Photoshop even. Yeah, recently I'm doing a lot of sort of web design work for the most part, and I've been dropping Photoshop altogether for Sketch. Sketch has a bunch of features that are just made for web design, whereas Photoshop adopted web design. Sketch was made for it from the start. Since the software was made, it had web design in mind. It has a plugin that links it with InVision, which Photoshop has as well, but Sketch is better for web design in general, so why not just use it? It's a one-time payment, which, as everyone knows, Adobe is not anymore. It is all Adobe CC, and I believe you can get Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom for £9 a month, which
like that.
That's not great considering you can get I'm
really sorry, guys.
It's fine. You can get Sketch for £99 for life, all updates. So in Sketch you get symbols, so you can create a button or a sort of a certain feature on the website that's used quite a lot. You hit create symbol with it selected, and you can then just drop it into any area that you need it, and that means you can sort of you can drop in a button and you can just change the text on it. You can change the color very quickly. You can make it responsive so it stretches outwards but keeps the text in the center, and it's just like, it's one object but you can still use it responsively. And then Sketch is open source, so you can make plugins. Anyone can make a plugin and upload it, and you can download it and install the plugin. That's incredible.
Cool. Yeah.
And some of the plugins for Sketch are amazing. There's one that I've been using recently, and it allows pinning to parts of the artboard. And so with that, it makes it easier to make websites for smaller screens. So you can duplicate the artboard. Pardon me.
I couldn't tell whether that was me or you.
No, that was
through
me.
the headphones.
So you can duplicate the artboard, and then you can just stretch it in, make it the viewport size for an iPhone or a tablet, and it's pretty much just like instant. You've got your layout for when it's full desktop size, or when the window's stretched down and it's mobile or a tablet, and it's great.
Awesome.
And that makes it easier for syncing with InVision, because you want to prototype both your desktop and your mobile, tablet, whatever. And then you have systems where you can drop a grid in. So say you have a section with masonry images. So you've got a page full of tiled images that it looks nicer than just square blocks of images. Yeah. It's used a lot in blogs and stuff like that. You can select that, make it a symbol, and then hit Command G, and it makes a grid of it. So you get a box around that now, and you stretch out right, and it duplicates it across. You stretch down, it duplicates it down. So you can create content really quick. And they have built-in features for sort of adding body copy. So you can just fill a section with text. Or you can drop in a random image from the internet. It has a plugin where you can pull a random image off a website called Unsplash, which is a royalty-free image website, and it's really good.
Oh, awesome.
There's a swing towards using photos that don't look staged in the past 2 years, because everyone's just desensitized to stage stock photography. So everyone just automatically ignores it. But Unsplash pulls real looking images that aren't cheesy staged sort of photography. So yeah, that's why I'm sort of dropping Adobe for web design. If you ever went into web design, I would recommend
Sketch.
Just ignore Photoshop. It was never built for it in the first place, and Sketch is cheaper in the long run. Free updates without monthly payments. You have features that are built into it from the start that are based for web design and UI design. It's brilliant. So another competitor that's come out is Affinity Designer. Now this is the big one for Photoshop. This is the big competitor, because it's a one-time payment. So it's only £49 forever, no monthly fees, and Affinity Designer is both Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator built into one. It has dynamic lighting, so you can drop a spotlight on an image and it looks like sort of realistic lighting setup, which is really cool. You can do vector in it, obviously. No need for Illustrator there. So you drop two of Adobe's sort of most important softwares from one way cheaper software. And I feel like this sort of sway towards other softwares is really healthy. There's no situation where a monopoly is good. It creates laziness. Without competition, there's no reason for them to add new features. And sort of, if no other competitor came out, Adobe could just keep hiking the price up. Hiking it up. And I'm really glad that these companies are coming out with new sort of innovative softwares is brilliant. It makes our lives easier. It improves the sort of environment that we work in and everything.
It just generally improves the design company if more people are coming out with effective alternatives to software. Like it's great.
My advice to Adobe is strip back your software.
Pull your fucking finger out.
Yeah, just dial back and turn the softwares back into what they were supposed to be, and then that opens up room for another software, and it might actually make it worth paying a monthly fee for your software. Because at the minute, I don't want to pay it. Photoshop is sluggish, it's slow, it feels old, it has no focus. It doesn't really compare to what Affinity Designer appears to be right now.
Illustrator's the same, I must say.
Yeah, Illustrator is very sort of bloated as well. It's lost what it's supposed to be. Yeah. And I mean, you can use Illustrator for whatever you like, for what you need it for. With Illustrator, for me, it's not an issue if it is a little more bloated, because it's still quick. It's still just vector graphics. I have no issue using Illustrator, but Photoshop is slow. You have no idea what it's supposed to be for, because Adobe have Lightroom for photos.
Oh, also, actually, the effects panel in Illustrator, you know how everything normally is like this really nice sort of grey layout sort of design? That's like the old thing still.
I'm not entirely sure why.
I'm like, hang on. Everything else you've done on this this software so far looks really good, apart from these panels. I'm like,
Adobe have a problem with updating, honestly. Because they don't want to lose functionality for old things, and they want it to sort of still feel like Adobe software. But you know, they start looking old. They start losing that sort of premium feel, which makes me not want to pay that premium price.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Like, for me, at the minute, because I'm still a student, I only pay, like £22 a month for the whole Adobe suite. But in 2 months, I could afford Affinity Designer and cut out pretty much everything I use Adobe for.
Yeah, I mean,
and then have it for life.
If you weren't a student as well, it would cost 1 month.
Oh yeah, it'd be 1 month. Yeah,
ridiculous. That is too much money.
Far too much.
So my closing statements on this is, I like competition. If a company creates a monopoly, you end up having laziness, you end up having no progress, and it makes our lives a little bit harder as designers and illustrators. But yeah, moving on from...
Also, sorry to interrupt you there. Very quickly, closing statement. Hashtag not sponsored by any of what we've just...
Oh, God, no. This is what, episode 3?
I just thought I'd say that because we were kind of...
bigging up a company. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we won't have any sponsors for quite a while. I'm sorry.
Be positive, Mike. Be positive.
I mean, if you want to sponsor us, then I'm down.
I can barely sponsor myself, let alone anyone else.
No, moving on from software that's sort of old and outdated, let's bring up something new. So, Instagram recently has...
Oh, good segue.
I know.
That was a good one.
It felt good. A part of me was like, yes.
I wasn't sure where he was going, but it was a good one, yes.
Yeah, so Instagram's brought out a new feature as well. And originally, I thought, this feature is pointless. I have no reason to use this. Until smarter artists than me got a hold of it. So the new feature is you can now upload sort of a mini album of photos or videos. So you can have 10 images and in one post, and you just swipe across. You can just swipe across.
So you go full Dora Explorer on the app.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly.
I like it.
And so originally I thought, oh great, all these drunk people can just post all of their night out photos in one post, and I don't have to scroll through a giant feed of it. But much better use. Artists are genius.
Using it for comic books.
Yeah, I mean, what people are doing now is they're uploading an image, and if they want to show sort of more detail, you swipe across and you get a more zoomed in portion of it. Or if they want to show progress, they upload images, and as you swipe across, it strips back the original image, and you see sort of their sketches, their planning, all that sort of stuff. It's a really good feature for artists, and I never saw it that way when it first came out.
Oh,
I'm very impressed.
I like the idea. I may have to start using it for some like progress shots whilst I'm doing my vector work.
I believe I will also start using it for that. And there'll be a lot of progress shots.
I was going to say.
I take a while to finish illustrations. Even worse recently because I'm always so busy.
Talking of illustrations and whatnot, have you finished out for or started anything for CoxCon this year?
I've started things. So if you haven't watched or listened to our other episodes, we go to a convention every year called CoxCon. It's not what you think. It is for...
Damn.
It is for Jesse Cox, the gaming YouTuber. Influencer, yes. Technical term.
Yeah.
Buzzwords. Yeah. And people run a convention for him. He's the main guest. And we sell artwork there. We've sold artwork there for 2 years now, getting towards the third one. In 5 months now, 5 months time it'll be. Yeah. So I have started work on 2 things. One is a thing that I started working on quite a while ago. It is I'm doing Overwatch characters as samurais and ninjas and stuff. And they'll probably just be little things that I can sort of sell for cheap. I've started a digital painting of Midoriya or Deku from My Hero Academy.
Yes.
It's probably the most detailed digital painting I've done so far.
I thought which one have you done? Because I thought
Midoriya, it's the main character.
Yeah.
They call him Deku because...
I thought Deku was the other guy.
No. He calls the main character Deku because it's supposed to mean useless. Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of lost where we were. Yeah, so I have been working on stuff, illustration wise.
Complete and off the tangent. But...
It's fine. You want to just ruin my episode of the podcast? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I like the new Instagram feature and stuff. It'll be good for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, moving on from our illustration discussion, I have another illustration to talk about. Bet you didn't see this segue coming either. So recently, Google released a new Google Doodle that is about the recently discovered solar system, TRAPPIST-1.
Has all of this happened recently by any chance?
Yes, it has. Yes. So for anyone that lives under a rock...
That's a lovely rock you've got there. Yeah. I like what you've done with the interiors.
But maybe come out every so often and just see what's going on. So NASA discovered a new solar system that is surrounding a red dwarf star, which scientists usually ignore.
Okay, if we get visiting Kryptonians, I'm a runaway.
No, I don't think we will. But yeah, so they found 7 planets orbiting this red dwarf star, which scientists have always ignored red dwarfs because they thought they're too small, they don't support life. But there's a bit of a twist to this one. All of the planets are very close together and very close to the sun. And because they're all so close together, 3 of them are within the habitable zone of this sun. Also, because they're so close together, they don't rotate. They all affect each other's gravity, so one side of the planet is permanently in the day and the other side is permanently in the dark.
I couldn't be doing with that.
I know. I'd have to live like half and half, you know?
Can you imagine everyone just sort of like be living on that on the equator of it, really? That'd be great.
So yeah, incredible
I
discovery.
just thought Donald Trump could have his wall.
Oh, he could, yeah.
Just send him there.
Yeah, just leave him on that
Trappist
side.
one, we've got a guest.
We're not
for
doing
you.
politics this
anyway.
episode. We're not doing it. Yeah. So amazing discovery. The highest chance of life on any planet we've ever found in these 3 planets. They're all Earth-sized as well, by the way. All 7 of them. Crazy. And Google released a happy little doodle to go with it, and it's this sort of really nice vector, almost children's illustration animation. And
is it vector?
Yeah, that's vector for sure.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, we were just looking at it for a moment.
We've got it.
It's this sort of vector animation with some nice grainy texture, and they gave each of the new planets their own sort of personality. And they gave Earth this big grin as it's looking through a telescope and it sees all these new planets. It's brilliant. Love it.
It's great.
It was just a little thing that I wanted to bring up because last week we were all doom and gloom talking about politics, and then this week we see a happy little planet waving at all these 7 new planets.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's great.
The art style reminds me of Xanthi Simmons.
I love how you're trying so hard not to get her name wrong there.
I know.
It's great. It's great.
Any name with an X in it, I'm just like, it's probably a Z, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does remind, very much so.
Mostly from the textures. It's sort of that children's book illustration style.
Yeah.
It's quite a modern one.
Almost sort of like a digital pencil crayon.
Yeah,
I think
it's
is the
a
best
lot
way I
like
can
that.
sort of.
No, I agree. It's just really nice. Xanthi Simmons does a lot of children's book sort of style illustrations
on her own time anyway.
Yeah.
And then
has she done books before? I think she has.
She's currently in the process of doing a children's book.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What do we know what it is?
If you watched her videos, you'd know this.
See, I've only recently started watching them, so I'm not entirely in the know at the minute. But her work is really impressive. I loved her Star Wars stuff. I know that you, in particular, like the Chewbacca.
Chewbacca's great.
Just because he's sort of like an excited puppy.
Yeah, he reminds me very much of, if you've been on Instagram and you've searched for Instagram dogs, you'll have more than likely come across Tuna Melts, the Chihuahua.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
He has the biggest overbite in the world. And it reminds me very much of that dog.
I can see that, actually. I definitely agree with that. Yeah. So recently, Xanthi came out with a video talking about sort of self-critique and confidence in your work and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that video was really good. It was really informative. And I wanted to ask you...
Is this an audio response to a video?
I guess it could be, yeah. Possibly. I wanted to ask you, anyway, how do you sort of gain confidence when you're working on a piece? How do you keep yourself engaged with that one particular thing that you're working on? Do you sort of take breaks, go away, come back and look at it again? If you don't like it, just get rid of it. Or do you sort of find your own way to make yourself continue working?
Yeah, sort of. When I'm working, it's very different for every piece. It's sometimes I'll maybe put like an audio book on or a podcast in the background while I'm doing something that lasts a long time that I can just work with. If I'm putting something on and it's quite short episodes each time, I'm more than likely gonna stop doing the work because I'm constantly having to sort out whatever's in the background. Either that or I'll maybe just whack on a load of music and sort out.
So essentially, you like a creative environment as you're making something creative. Yeah.
Also, the room I'm in when I'm working, if it's not so much cluttered, if there's a lot going on the walls, like if there's lots of posters and whatnot, stuff like that, can't be doing with it.
Yeah.
No.
You need a sort of blank canvas.
Yeah, like at the minute, I've been struggling to do work at uni because there is like there's just lots of stuff on the wall. I'm like,
Yeah. There's a lot going
Stop.
on there
just,
as well.
Just stop. Like, I just need one room that's just, in fact, almost like a. It's gonna sound really awful, but like a hospital room with nothing. It's just pure white.
Yeah.
Single desk, a single chair, and my computer. I'll be well away.
A better thing to say would have probably been an empty exhibition hall, something like that. Sort of like a nice empty space where you can just sort of throw your own ideas around.
Like the way I work it is that the room becomes my
it's almost
my
like
mind,
your think space.
like
it's where you
my think tank.
Yeah, it's where you develop your ideas, and you don't want it to be muddled up with all this other stuff that's on the walls. That's really interesting.
Yeah, like if the room is empty and it's quite a large room, then the scope that I have for ideas, it very much changes with the environment I'm in as well.
Okay.
It's a very big.
That's I've never heard someone say something like that.
It's genuine how I work. Like, if the room, when I'm thinking of ideas, when I visualize in my head, they are like somewhere in the room.
Yeah.
And then I kind of pull from them when I'm doing other bits and pieces as well. But it feels very natural when I do it. So like when there are other bits in the room that are maybe cluttering the room, they sort of contaminate ideas and make it a little bit more fuzzy. That's very
interesting. That almost sounds like an art form of dyslexia.
Possibly.
It really sounds like that. I understand that to a degree, because when I work, I'm not able to have things on my desk. I need things out of the way. I need my room to sit there, and I need to work. I don't like clutter anyway.
No.
Which you might not be able to tell right now because stuff's everywhere. But when I'm working, I need stuff tidy. I need it clean. But I don't mind having stuff up on the walls. I quite like having inspiration around me. So if it's, I like a neat area, but I like having sort of things to reference and get inspiration from. Which is kind of a halfway point to you.
Yeah.
Whereas you're like sort of, I need nothing near me at all.
As long as visually there isn't like things to interrupt when I'm thinking, or like audio bits and pieces like that do not affect me whatsoever whilst I'm doing it. Unless I'm writing, then I'll end up putting like words and shit from the podcast or music in it, which has not been good. I've been doing assignments before and had like Rihanna lyrics put in accidentally.
Yeah, I used to write a lot. I when I was younger, I really liked English at like school and stuff, so I would write a lot. And I would do this thing where if I'm having a conversation with someone and I'm typing, I would accidentally put the word in that I just said, and I'd be like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Because like, I suppose that's just me.
It's almost like a disconnect, isn't it? It's like the wrong bit connects with your hands almost.
It's interesting. I like hearing about how people work, because everyone has their own methods. A lot of people tend to like put music on or sort of look through images before they start working and think like, oh, something like that would be cool to involve in this. But the fact that you don't want anything is really cool. Apart from music, you'll listen to music.
I listen to music like references. If I'm using references, it'll be like what I've seen beforehand. I don't like pulling up images directly in front of me, because more than likely not, it'll start to become what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
and that's not what I want. Like when I was younger, when you were younger, you see artwork and you copy what you see and whatnot.
But that's not what you want to do.
No, that's not. So
it's not what anyone wants to do.
What I try and do is just take it from memory. If it's not looking right, I will pull up an image, obviously, and then sort of correct how it's meant to look.
When I pull references up, I'm okay with leaving them there, because I don't reference like large things. I'll reference like, how does this look if this arm twists that way, or something like that. So it's more like to do with the way that like things
angles,
work.
angles of the body and whatnot.
It's more so like, if I was to draw someone that has like, say they have like a big arm muscle or something, and they're twisting their arm in a certain way, I'll look up how the muscle looks when the arm twists that way. I'll get a rough idea. Obviously, you're never going to find an image that's the exact pose that your character's already in and stuff like that.
I always find myself putting myself in those poses.
Yeah, I tend to take photos of myself and like part of my body or whatever, and then I'll sort of reference myself.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good way to do it. Sometimes I'll leave my phone in front of my monitor and I'll have the front-facing camera there, so I can just lift my arm up or whatever and see how my hand looks at certain angles and stuff like that. Ways that I sort of keep myself motivated to work, though. Music's good. I also like having sort of creative streams on at the same time.
Yeah.
Streams kind of help me, even if it's nothing to do with what I'm doing at the time. Like sometimes I'll have like prop makers up on screen and stuff. When I worked at university, I liked having other people around because it was a creative environment. And it's sort of that same thing. It's like you're in a creative environment, even if that person's not necessarily there.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have up while you're working as well.
Yeah. I can have people talking or whatnot around.
Yeah. I mean, not too much.
No, yeah, not too much. And when they're around me, I'm like, oh, just go away.
Yeah, just leave.
Just go away.
No, I don't like when someone hovers while you're trying to work. That's infuriating. I don't mind if you're discussing work and sort of debating things and like sort of furthering the creative environment. But if they're just hovering around to see what you're doing, just leave. Go away. You're not helping me in any way. You are a distraction.
If I wanted people to see what I was doing, I'd stream. Like,
like every so often,
that's
I'll
what
stream.
I might do. But I might just have like a nice exhibition room, single table, single chair, computer, and just stream all of my work.
That's sort of an art piece in itself, isn't it? Just do that in the middle of book out an exhibition hall. Let's do it.
Take modern, hit me up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's sort of how.
How do you go about taking a step back from your work and being like, okay, these bits don't work?
Yeah. What I do is literally I do anything that's not what I'm currently doing. It can either be I can change what I'm working on, or I can get up, I can walk away, I can make a drink, have a coffee, relax. 15 minutes, that's all I need. I'll come back and I'll be able to see problems easier, or I'll be able to sort of be like, no, this is good, this is going in the right direction. Or I can just be like, I need to redraw most of this.
Yeah.
And just taking a minute to sort of do anything else is good for me anyway, because I tend to like, as you're working, you desensitize yourself to what you're seeing. It becomes like either you end up hating it because you're just staring at the same thing for like hours or however long, or you think it's great when really it could be improved. So every so often I'll take a break, I'll go away, I'll come back, and I'll sort of self-critique. I'll be like, what could be better? I'll do stuff like I'll flip my canvas. Does it look fine both ways? Does the face look like a human face and that sort of stuff? So I'll sort of schedule in these moments where I just walk away so that I can come back and I can be like, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is great, that kind of thing.
Do you know, when I started using Illustrator, I was very much in mind of like, I'd just work on a piece and just get it done. But recently what I've been doing more of is taking that moment just to, step away, go maybe get get a quick snack and a drink or something, come back and just looking at what I'm doing more often.
It sounds weird, but taking a break can speed the process up.
Oh god, yeah.
Like it makes it easier in the long run if you just take breaks. Because also, I don't know about you, but I get eye strain nowadays. It really hurts. I get like twitchy eyes, and I've kind of got one right now because I've got this monitor right in front of me. My eye is like sort of pulsing, and I need to take breaks.
Yeah. I was like that at work actually yesterday.
Yeah.
My right eye just sort of like completely went out of focus for a good
Yeah.
maybe 10 minutes.
So
I was like, this isn't good.
is there any other method that you use that sort of helps you see where you could improve, or sort of do you go to other people and ask, or
Oh yeah, all the time. Like, I mean, I've sent the amount
Yeah.
of times that I send you process pics, and then also I'll send Sophie some. I'll send maybe 4 or 5 different people
Yeah.
the same image. See what, because everyone looks at something completely different.
Yeah.
So the more people that you ask, the more information you get. But be wary, because you'll get a lot of different answers.
Yeah.
So you need to look at the advice and be like, okay, what is the thing that needs work on the most, and then work from there.
What I've found is I get better results from asking people what they think if I don't necessarily always ask my closest friends, because
yeah.
your friends don't want to upset you. They want to sort of help you and make you confident in your work and all that bollocks. But what I always need is someone to just be like, no, I don't like that. If there's something wrong with it, I need them to be like, no, and here's why. Whereas my friends will be like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. But that's not what I need. I want actual like reasons for a start. If someone has an idea or a reason for why you should maybe do something differently, always listen to them, because that's how we progress.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. You shouldn't take critique as an offense.
No,
That's the worst thing an artist can do, unless it's obviously blatant, just tearing you down for the sake of it.
Like, if it's good critique that you're receiving, it's not meant as a personal attack.
Yeah.
Ever.
A lot of artists sort of do that. They sort of take critique or criticism as an offense. A lot of people on YouTube do the same as well, and it's sort of like, that's not really why they're saying that. No. You should take it on board. And...
There was a time when a certain YouTuber had made some new artwork for their channel, and they was like, what do you guys think? So I, obviously studying illustration and whatnot, I gave sort of an informed opinion, really, because it's what I'm doing at the minute. And the response I got back was very defensive, and very much a case of like, whoa, okay, I'm gonna step off now before.
The problem with that is, if you get defensive, if you get argumentative with people that are critiquing your work, then you didn't want their opinion in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
You weren't actually doing it to receive sort of feedback. You were doing it so they could pat you on the back and say you did a good job. And you should never go into sharing your artwork with that sort of mindset. That's not what it's for. If you want to share and get feedback, then take what people say on board and don't take offense. It's the best way to grow as an artist.
Yeah. Also, Xanthi mentioned in her video about artists just putting up final images. Yeah. I think collectively as artists, we should put up more process pictures.
Yeah, because I mean, what I find...
I like that about that video.
When you ask for feedback, generally, if you're asking your friends or people that do the same thing as you, you'll ask while you're doing it. So why are you only sharing
the final
product?
Yeah.
And it also creates a mindset, and I think Xanthi mentioned this as well, creates a mindset in these other people that if you create something really cool and they see it and that's all they've seen, they'll be like, oh, they've done that in one try. I could never do that. And that's really harmful to the industry. I know obviously just one artist doing this wouldn't destroy the industry, but I mean it is a problem for people that are sort of new to it, or they just
it gives the impression that doing art is a very intimidating
and it's not. We've all been the little guy at some point. That's how you get started. Everyone just starts doodling in their like notebooks or whatever as a kid, and I
must admit, at primary school I was that one child that would hoard all the scrap paper so I could draw the most.
I was the same. I did that a lot in high school. I used to acquire textbooks.
Oh yeah, same.
I used to acquire them without asking. And I would just have like books and books of just drawings and
Yeah.
you know,
My favorite to draw. Now this is a very weird tangent. You know the Espo books, the textbooks that we got.
yeah.
The Espo. The ones with the squares, the maths ones.
Yeah.
They were the best to draw.
They were really good because you could get like diagonals really well.
Yeah, that, and it just gave like what's it called? Proportions a lot
Yeah,
easier.
yeah.
Like you could work out, I've drawn this size.
That's
These
got to
bits.
be 5 squares.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's no. We went on a tangent there.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, to have confidence in your artwork, you just need to, work at it. It's
And
almost
have
like
fun with it.
yeah, it's almost like a muscle. You have to practice being confident. You don't just get confident. It's
Yeah.
not how it works.
Yeah.
You have to work at it. You have to share things more and earlier in the process. If you share sort of your sketches and your early work, you can get feedback earlier and you can finish the piece quicker. And making your process quicker will make you more
yeah.
confident. My process is really slow.
And also, don't worry about what equipment you're using. You don't need to
Yeah.
have the best things in the world.
You don't need a 32-inch Cintiq and like top of the range iMac or anything like that.
Yeah.
You can create artwork on what's that free software?
GIMP.
GIMP. You can create artwork on GIMP on like a Windows 95 machine if you really have to. You just make stuff.
Yeah.
That's the best
And
way.
enjoy the process of making it as well.
Yeah. There's no point doing it if you don't enjoy it. It's like playing games. If you're just angry the whole time, then there's no point playing them.
No.
You know, those people that hardcore games and then when they lose, they're just mad and they break their shit, and it's just take it easy
Just breathe.
and breathe.
Take a moment.
Yeah. So enjoy your process, share your process with people, get feedback, take it on board. And that's the best way to grow. And that's the best way to gain confidence for me anyway.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we'll go on to the spotlight.
Spotlight. Spotlight. Spotlight. It's a spotlight.
See, I was wondering if you'd remember that or
Would I remember? Of course
Yeah,
I'd
of course you
remember.
would. Yeah. So again, this week we've both prepared artists that we want to share and kind of shine a light on. Hence the spotlight. So I'm gonna ask you first, Josh, so that I can prepare my answer.
Wow, thank you, Mike. So this week I have chosen there's a YouTuber that I've followed for quite a while now, actually. A good few years, I think. He's called his channel name is Draw with Jazza. Recently he has hit 1 million subscribers, and I think that's a phenomenal task for anyone.
Yeah, that's huge. So that's an insane amount.
And to
of
say
numbers.
his channel is literally just illustration. It's crazy.
Now, I'm not familiar with his work. So what sort of illustration does he do?
He did a lot of stuff on Newgrounds.
I see. I also know of a few current big creators that started on
I
there.
think one was called Adventures of Larry, or Larry was something to do with Newgrounds on there.
Okay.
He's done that. There's a load. He's a menagerie of different things he's done. My favorite, personally, with the rise of VR coming through and VR artistry or V-artistry,
Brilliant. That is, put that on a t-shirt.
he decided to basically sculpt in this VR art program the Iron Giant.
Yes, I have heard about this. You did tell me about this today, actually.
And I kid you not, it's amazing. It is such a good video to watch. and just an all around great experience seeing him like just enjoying the process of making this idea
Yeah.
and also figuring out how he's going to go about doing it. It's just a really fun
I
video.
have just seen that he also did Majora's Mask.
Yes.
He did the Skull Kid from
He's
Majora's
done
Mask.
quite a few actually. He's recently done a one for the game For Honor as well.
Ah, yeah, the game that I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
It all comes back around.
Do you know,
This has been a great episode for segues.
Yeah. Hashtag not spawn.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so if you want to check his stuff out, we'll put the link and whatnot below. Again, guys, go check it out. It's a really cool video.
Yeah, I did just see his Majora's Mask one, and that was really cool. So I'll have to check out the Iron Giant one.
Did a Hulk one as well in VR.
I did skim past that. I did see that as well. I'm impressed. I just brushed through the Skull Kid from Majora's Mask one, and it was cool. It was really cool. Yeah. So if you want to check him out on YouTube, he is Draw with Jazza.
Yeah,
Is that it?
Yeah, Draw with Jazza.
I searched it and I got it.
JAZZA.
Yeah, I searched it and I got it as the first search result. I'd recommend checking him out. Has he got any other links that you can drop in the description?
I think he's got Twitter, Instagram.
Let's go with Twitter.
All of those, you know. Yeah.
I assume the same thing across the board.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What about yourself? Who are you shining a light on this week?
That term is just... I'm going to use that
Also, I'm pretty sure that's a McFly song.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it is. From their recent comeback stuff.
I see.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, yes, it is, because it's got Teo Cruz in it as well.
Oh, no. That's awful. Anyway, my artist that I'm spotlighting this week is an illustrator called Salvador Davy. I assume...
Great name.
I'm not sure if it's their real name. If it is, brilliant name.
Yeah,
if it's not...
Great on the parents.
If it's not, then, brilliant username. That's great. He's an illustrator. He does sort of painted, digital painting style illustrations, and he is using the feature we mentioned earlier in the podcast on Instagram to show his progress. So he has...
Oh, yeah, you did show us this one.
I did show you this. And he has sort of really detailed illustrations uploaded, and then if you swipe through, you've got his line work. You swipe through again, you've got his early sketches, and then you go to another image and he's got this really nice detailed sort of comic book style illustration, and then you swipe and it zooms in and you see just how much detail's there.
Yeah,
it's really impressive. Honestly,
really great. Really good stuff.
He's a really good artist.
Also, on the image you showed me just a minute ago, some really nice colours he's used as well. Some really nice
bold colours. It's sort of...
It's almost got like he's pulled like the 60s.
Yeah.
To now.
Or what I get from it is it's sort of like the same kind of colours that sort of Adventure Time would use, but in more of a painted style.
Yeah.
I love. I do enjoy really vibrant, sort of out there color palettes. I mean, he's got characters with like bright green hair, and the rest of the image is like
really
pink
cool.
and purple. Or you've got sort of these big blue, stark, empty backgrounds where you've got this sort of dead center character with
that's almost very
features.
Have you heard of the comic Lil Gotham?
No, I haven't.
It's basically Batman, but all the characters are like very small.
Oh yes, actually,
and
I have seen this.
It's all watercolored.
Yeah,
those colors remind me of that quite a lot.
Yeah,
but almost like a digital watercolor.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
I'm just really impressed. It's. I only found this artist this week. I think it was like 4 days ago, and it's just so impressive. And he's another person that shows his progress. And to be fair, he shows his progress more than he probably shows his final pieces.
Art. Yeah.
It's all sort of
a
lot of line art stuff with like minimal shading or no shading at all. He's even got pencil drawings that are really detailed. Just brilliant. I would recommend checking him out if you want to find him on Instagram, you can find him just at Salvador Davy. That's SalvadorDavy. Not IE. Y.
Why?
Yeah. So go check him out. There'll be links in the description for both of those artists, which we remembered to do last week. We did it.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Just completely
See,
had a
it confused Josh for a moment because we uploaded today.
Yeah.
We record a week in advance.
Yeah, honestly, it's not the worst. It's actually really good. But
Yeah.
I'm still getting confused. But
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, third episode, I think we're doing quite well, honestly. We've had a lot of positive feedback recently.
yes,
I say recently, we've been doing it for like
6 days, 7 days,
7
days.
Yeah, and people seem to like it, and we have guests lined up. Did you know we have guests lined up, Josh?
Yes, because I asked one of them, you was it?
We have other guests as well.
Oh,
I'm not going to say right now, but I'll say after the podcast. who we got.
good.
Yeah, so be prepared for that. We have some guests lined up. We'll be doing a couple more weeks of just us, and then we'll be bringing people into the fold and sort of introducing guests, talking about their lives and where they came from and that kind of stuff.
Can we not get a history of the artist though? I don't. That's not
What I want to know is what got them started and the sort of like their influences. That's what I want to know. What got them into it? Sort of like our first episode. How we talked about sort of broadly what got us into it in the first place.
I mean, some of us didn't talk very broadly. I
Okay.
will say.
I went quite in depth. Sort of the projects that they were like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So the questions that I asked you on the first episode, that's what I want to know from them. And then we can go into sort of what they're doing now. And then we can go into just the standard format topics of the week. And then they can bring up an artist at the end as well. Again,
good.
we're talking about
Stuff on the podcast.
But I suppose it's good because it keeps people informed of what's going to
And it
happen, what's
keeps us
coming
on
up.
on our toes.
It does, yeah. Yeah, so that's definitely all we have time for this week. We've gone over an hour already. So you have been listening to the Bright Futura podcast with your hosts, Mike O'Rourke, and
Josh Hinkins.
if you want to follow us on our social media, all of my stuff, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, is Mike O'Rourke. That's MikeOraw. Just drop me a follow, and I post on there when we're uploading, and I upload project shots of my work as and when I do it. Yeah, and if you want to follow Josh, you can find him.
Yes, I can be found at Twitter and Instagram at Instagram/Joshua, which is W. Instagram is 7 A's and a H. Twitter is 6. It will be left in the description. Do not worry.
Yeah.
And also my YouTube can be found at youtube.com/Jinkins19. That's the number 19.
Not
well.
the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of those will be left in the description. If you want to get just information on the podcast, you can follow the official Bright Futura social media accounts. That's Twitter at BFutura Podcast. Again, doesn't let you have a long name. I'm not going to say this every week. This is the last time. You can find us on Facebook. Just search Bright Futura Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. That is Bright Futura Podcast. Crazy. And I'm going to start an Instagram in about 5 minutes. So you can find us there, which is probably going to be Bright Futura Podcast. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bon voyage!
Yeah, bye.